my dear friends. Hello, my dear listeners. So, how are you all? I hope you are doing your best to serve your duties in your own conditions with utmost honesty and love. And also, you are enjoying this season of festivity. So, let's start. So, today we are going to plunge into the next part of the our journey through the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa Dev. And today we think that we are going to know how he got the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So let's proceed. The auspicious day arrived. Sri Ramakrishna was asked by his guru to perform the Shraddh ceremony or the prescribed oblations to his departed forefathers, for a sannyasin is practically dead to the world and can no longer take part in such rites. Then he was asked to perform his own Shraddh, as he must give up the desire of going to other spheres to enjoy the fruits of his actions. He went through this exactly as he was told, and collecting the requisites for sannyasa in his meditation room at the Panchavati according to the directions of the Guru, he fasted and joyfully awaited the final consecration. The night was almost spent in the placid silence of the last half hour, the most auspicious time for this initiation. The teacher and the disciple entered the meditation room. The Guru chanted the holy mantras, which the disciple repeated as he put oblations one after another into the sacred fire, renouncing as he did so all desire for enjoyment here and hereafter, and giving assurance of safety as part and parcel of his own being to all creatures. After the burning of his hair tuft and sacred thread, he accepted from the Guru the emblems of a new life, the loincloth and the ochre robe. The day dawned. It was a glorious day for India and indeed for the world, pregnant with immense possibilities for the future. The ancient religion of the Vedanta found a new apostle, and the world saw the appearance of a new man filled with the all embracing love of a Buddha and endowed with the keen intellect of a Shankara. A new prophet was born who was to be a bridge between the two worlds, the East and the West, and reconcile the fates of the past with the exigencies of the future. Prostrating himself before his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna took his seat to receive his instructions to make him feel constantly his identity with Brahman. Totapuri began to teach him the credential truths of the Advaita Vedanta. Brahman, he said, is the only reality ever pure, ever illuminated, ever free, beyond the limits of time, space, and caution. Though apparently divided by names and forms through the inscrutable agency of Maya, that enchantress which makes the impossible possible, Brahman is really one and undivided. When a seeker is merged in the beatitude of Samadhi, he does not perceive time and space or name and form, the products of Maya. Whatever is within the domain of Maya is unreal. Give it up. Pierce through the maze of name and form and rush out of it like a lion. Dive deep in the search for self and be firmly established in it through Samadhi. You will then find the world of name and form vanishing into nothing, and this puny ego merging in the cosmic consciousness. You will realize your identity with Brahman, the existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Quoting the scriptures, he said that knowledge is shallow by which one sees or hears or knows another. What is shallow is worthless and can never give supreme felicity. But the knowledge in which one does not see, hear, or know another, which is beyond duality, is great and helps a man to attain the supreme bliss. How can the mind and senses grasp that which shines in the heart of all as the eternal subject? Arguing in this way and supporting his arguments by scriptural quotations, Totapuri tried that day to help Sri Ramakrishna to fix his mind firmly in the absolute. We describe it in Sri Ramakrishna's own words. After the initiation, the naked one began to teach me the various conclusions of the Advaita Vedanta and asked me to withdraw the mind completely from all objects and dive into the Atman. But in spite of all my attempts, I could not cross the realms of name and form and bring my mind to the unconditioned state. I had no difficulty in withdrawing the mind from all other objects except one, the all too familiar form of the blissful mother, radiant and of the essence of pure consciousness, which appeared before me as a living reality, preventing me from passing beyond the realm of name and form. Again and again, I tried to concentrate my mind upon the Advaita teachings, but every time the mother's form stood in my way. In despair, I say to the naked one, "It is hopeless. I can't raise my mind to the unconditioned state and come face to face with the Atman." He grew excited and sharply said, "What? You can't do it, but you have to." He cast his eyes around and finding a piece of glass, he took it up and pressing the point between my eyebrows said, "Concentrate the mind on this point." Then, with a stern determination, I again sat to meditate. And as soon as the gracious form of the Divine Mother appeared before me, I used my discrimination as a sword and severed it in two. There remained no more obstruction to my mind, which at once soared beyond the relative plane, and I lost myself in Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna passed into the ineffable glory of the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In that rapturous ecstasy, the sense and mind stopped their functions. The body became motionless as a corpse. The universe rolled away from his vision. Even space itself melted away. Everything was reduced to ideas which floated like shadows in the dim background of the mind. Only the faint consciousness of I repeated itself in dull monotony. Presently, that too stopped, and what remained was existence alone. The soul lost itself in the self, and all idea of duality, of subject and object, was effaced. Limitations were gone, and finite space was one with infinite space, beyond speech, beyond experience, and beyond thought. Sri Ramakrishna had realized the Brahman had become the Brahman. Totapuri sat for a long time silently watching his disciple. Finding him perfectly motionless, he stole out of the room and locked the door lest anybody should intrude without his knowledge. Then he awaited the call from Sri Ramakrishna to open the door. The day passed on and the night came. Another day and still another. 3 days passed and there was no call. Tutapuri was astonished and went to see what was wrong. He opened the door and entered the room. There sat Sri Ramakrishna in the very same position in which he had left him. There was no manifestation of life in the body, but the countenance was calm, serene, and radiant. He saw that the disciple was still dead to the objective world, his mind absorbed in the self without a flicker, absolutely steady. With breathless wonder, Totapuri stood before this august spectacle. It is really true, he said to himself. Is it possible that this man has attained in the course of a single day that which it took me 40 years of strenuous practice to achieve? Impelled by doubt, he again made a searching examination. With the utmost care, he determined if the heart was beating or if there was the slightest stress of respiration. Again and again, he touched the disciple's corpse like body. There was no sign either of life or of consciousness. In joyous bewilderment, he cried out, "Great God, it is nothing short of a miracle." It was undoubtedly a case of the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the culmination of the Advaita practice. Totapuri immediately took steps to bring the mind of Sri Ramakrishna down to the world of phenomena. The little room in the Panchavati rang with the holy mantra Hari Om, uttered in a solemn voice. Little by little, Sri Ramakrishna came to the consciousness of the outside universe. He opened his eyes and saw his Guru looking at him with tenderness and admiration. The Guru answered the worthy disciple's prostration by locking him in a warm embrace. Totapuri usually did not stay at any one place for more than 3 days, but he wished to establish this wonderful new disciple firmly on the lofty plane of Advaita, and he remained 11 months in the garden of Dakshineshwar. We shall, we shall now describe some interesting events of this period which will throw a flood of light on the unique relation of Sri Ramakrishna with this great monk and the Vairavi Brahmani, and show how, in certain respects, the disciple in his turn became the teacher of his gurus. So, my dear friends, today we are stopping here. We will come to know what happened next in the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa Dev in the next episode. Till then, be happy, be jolly, and keep praying. Shubhamastu.